Hey, TheEZGZ here. I want to say thank you to Nicole for continuing this series and having the patience to do this for you free to help you, because that's the way she rolls. That's the way she is. She does a lot for this whole community, and her classes are growing, and I hope that possibly some of these videos would help that to continue happening. And be sure and stop by her site and just say hello if you like what you see and what we're doing. I put a link down below, so we're going to get on with it here. We're going to do a little disclaimer first.
Okay, just remember, yoga is not a substitute for medical attention, examination, diagnosis, or treatment. Yoga is not recommended and is not safe for certain medical conditions. Okay, so when in doubt, check with your doctor. If you're in pain, it might not be the right route right now, and we're going to show you some things for pain. So last time we talked about head and shoulders and hands and wrists, and today I want to talk about the sciatic pain. And sciatic pain is kind of usually one-sided, and it kind of goes down the legs. Sometimes it can be pretty intense. So we're going to be talking about some poses that will help increase health in the whole pelvis, which will decrease that sciatic pain, sometimes almost immediately. So if you're having sciatic pain and you feel like you can get down on the floor, some of these poses will help with that immediately. All right. So the first pose, and there's only 3 poses today, but I want to talk to you. The first one is triangle pose. So to do triangle pose, you're going to stand with your feet together and then step your feet wide. All right. So and what we're looking for is that your heels are in line with each other. All right. And by wide, I mean 3.5 to 4 feet wide is what you're shooting for. So usually when you stretch your arms out to the side, your ankles are below your wrists. So this isn't it, right? Stretch out. All right, so we're going to go to the right first. So we're turning the right foot out. And then on an exhale, we'll tip over to the right, taking our hand down the shin, reaching the top hand up towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're breathing as we do this, right? All right, you're pushing into the inside of your right foot and the outside of your left heel. If this shoulder hurts, go ahead and put your hand on your hip, but continue to roll that shoulder back. You want your chest facing forward. You want your hips facing forward. To get up, reach your arm back and pull yourself up. All right, let's do the other side. Turn the left foot out and the right foot in a bit. When you do that, you still want your hips facing forward. You still want your chest facing forward. You're going to reach out to the sides. On an exhale, reach to the left. Take your hand down to the knee or the shin and reach your top arm up. Notice you want the 2 arms stretching across from each other. All right. You're pushing into the inside of your left foot now, outside of the right heel. And again, if your top arm hurts, keep your hand on your hip the whole time. Inhale, come all the way up. Okay, so that's triangle pose. A little bit more information about the alignment of this pose. You want when you turn your foot out, let's do the right one more time. When you turn the foot out, you want your heel and your arch of your back foot lining up together. Okay, so you want your heel kind of cutting into the back of the arch. So you can do this pose. I'm going to show it with my hand on my hip the whole time. Reach out to the right, exhale, go over to the side, hips and chest facing forward, open the chest and breathe. Stretch your spine towards your head, stretch your spine towards your tailbone, okay, both ways. And now again, to get up, pull back with your top arm and stand. We'll do the other side one more time. All right, left foot turns to the left all the way. If it's turned in a little bit, that's not going to help you in your pelvis. You have to turn your foot all the way to the side. And then the right foot turns in a little bit. Okay, again, I'm going to keep my right hand on my hip. On an exhale, you're reaching through your side. Stretch your tailbone away from your crown of your head. Stretch your crown of your head away from your tailbone and turn your chest to face forward. You don't want to be looking down at the ground, okay? And breathe. And if you can't breathe well, come up higher. All right? If you're feeling this in the inner groin, that would be fine. If you're feeling it back here for now, that would be probably fine. All right, to come up, inhale, reach your top arm back, and come all the way up. All right, turn your feet forward. and step your feet together. Okay, for the next pose, you'll need a good space to lay down on the floor, and you'll need some kind of belt or tie, karate belt, or your belt coming off of your pants, anything. And what you'll do is you'll lay down. And so what we're doing in this pose is we're opening the pelvis again, just like we did in that last pose. So you'll lay down, start with your 2 knees bent, and your feet together and your knees squeezing together. Keep your pelvis stable, all right? So you don't have to push your lumbar spine down, but you do have to keep your pelvis grounded into the floor, all right? Now bringing the right knee into the chest, capture that right foot, and we're going to go for straightening. Straighten as high as you can. So now if you get to here, and you can get your foot way up here, but the knee is bent, that's not it. So if you can't straighten your knee, move your foot further away. All right, so whatever that looks like for you. All right, now you're going to take the belts into the same side hand. So in our case, it's the right, and you'll rest your left hand out to the left, and we're taking that foot out to the side. All right, the leg has to stay straight. The pelvis has to go grounded to the floor. Do you see that this hip is lifting up for me? We want that hip to come down. So even for me, this is all I can go. We're pulling that abdomen, we're pulling the abdomen down, extending through the heel, and pulling the foot up and to the side both. All right, and then come back to center. Okay, if you're actually in a lot of pain, go ahead and release that foot. If you're actually in a lot of pain, then you would want to have your leg resting on something. So for me, I'm going to rest my leg on a chair. You can use a wall, you can use your bed, you can use anything that you happen to have nearby. You'll do the same thing. You're stretching that leg up, and you're going to take it out to the side wherever it will go, and then you rest it on something, and you let your pelvis remain grounded on the other side. And then you'll rest here. Sometimes you could stay 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If it hurts, stay longer. And it'll make you happy. It'll make you feel better. All right, to come up, be strong. Push your little toe side of the foot towards the big toe. Push down into your hip and bring that foot back to center. All right, and then we'll bend the knee, and we can do the other side. So let's do that. This used to be my favorite pose to hate. It changes slowly. You might feel a big hamstring sensation. You might feel a big calf sensation. Both of those are normal and fine. If it's too bad and you can't breathe, just back off a little, okay? You're going to get good benefit from being here. So first you go upright, straightening your knee, let your head rest on the floor, and then you'll take both belts into the same side hand, keeping the opposite hip moving towards the floor. You'll take the foot out to the side. And so you see this leg for me can go way further. Remember to breathe. And again, if you're in pain, get something to prop your foot on. The wall, a pillow. We don't want this. You see, this is not it at all. This isn't helping your pelvis at all. So you want to stay grounded down into both hips and let the leg come out to the side, keeping this opposite knee upright. Okay, it's not flaring out to the side, it's upright. And there's strength happening in the abdomen and in the whole pelvic area. All right, inhale, come back to center, and then you can bend that leg and release. All right, the next pose is a pose done at the wall, so you don't need a place to lay down anymore, but you do need a chair. So come onto the wall and bring your chair with you. And it's again a pelvic opener, all right? So you want to put your one heel at the wall, and you want to take your other leg out to the side, and you're trying to keep your hips level, so you don't want one hip to come way up high. You want to keep your hips level, and you're going to use your hand to press that knee back. And it's a good stretch for the inner groin. You feel that?
Yeah. Yeah, right in here.
Yeah, me too. You want to descend the top of your hip. So once again, you don't want your hip coming up, you don't want your thigh coming up. You want your hip descending. And if your foot was higher, like maybe you're using a bar stool or something, that would be fine too. But you want that hip those two hips level and facing forward. So do you see I took my foot up and my hips are now facing that direction, which is not ideal. All right, you want it, and even if you had to have the chair away from the wall, let's say you're not very flexible and you're coming to here, that's fine. Continue to push the knee back so that things are changing for you, and eventually the foot will come closer to the wall. Hips remain, or shoulders remain facing forward, hips remain facing forward, and you're again pushing back into that opposite side hip. This is really similar to what we did on the mat just now with the belts. All right, so even during this, remember to breathe. And then after a few seconds, maybe 20, maybe a minute, change sides. And then we will, and you can stay longer if you need to, if it feels like it's doing some good. Again, put your heel against the wall, and you want your hips against the wall, and you want your shoulder blades against the wall, and you also want your head against the wall. And you're taking your foot to the side, pressing that knee back, pressing this hip forward. So you're kind of working against two opposing forces there. And that's what makes you stronger, and that's what makes you more flexible. All right? You don't want a partner to come and push. That just makes you broken. So work against your own strength and flexibility and continue to grow with this. So these exercises, these three poses, would be appropriate to repeat 2 or 3 times each side. And it would be appropriate to do it every day if you needed to, or maybe twice a week. These 3 poses, they're a good place to start. All right? Okay, and then release. Yeah, and how does it feel?
It was easier on one side than the other, which seems like is always the case.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always easier on one side than the other, for me too. And if it's really hard on one side, then start with the really hard side and then do the easy side, and then do the hard side again, and then walk away. So you want to do the hard side more and longer, right? But that being said, you want to be able to breathe. You want to have some peace. You don't want to be pushing like you're having a baby, all right? You just need to be taking your time and being patient with yourself, and things will change. All right, well, those are the 3 poses I had for you to combat sciatic pain. And if you don't have sciatic pain today, but you do find you have sciatic pain frequently, that is the best time to do these 3 poses, is when you're not really in a lot of pain, to help maintain that pain-free time period. If you are in a lot of pain, you can still do these poses, but you're going to have to really even be more careful and patient with yourself and focus on your breathing, right?
All right. Well, thank you very much. Please leave a comment down below. That gives us an idea of what to do in future videos. And you can let us know if you tried these poses today and it helped with whatever your situation was. We need positive feedback in order to continue this series. And appreciate you watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out!